Zadon Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the latest episode of Miraculous. Yes, we are back with more Miraculous, with SentiBubbler finally coming out. And later this week, we should be getting some more Miraculous coming our way, with episodes like, well, everything that we haven't seen yet. I'll be back hopefully with some more of that stuff soon. Not exactly certain on exact details off the top of my head, but yeah. SentiBubbler is out, which of course means that we need to discuss everything that happened in this episode. Now, I actually only watched this in Portuguese because of the fact that that was the only version that was out when I saw it. But on top of that, right before this, shortly before this episode came out, we actually got some cool trailers for Rocketeer, which, okay, that was interesting, and we'll talk some more about that as we talk about this episode. So, to start off the episode, we get to see Marinette is waking up from a nightmare that she is having the night after the last episode, which of course was that of Optigami, which Optigami was an insane episode, and I've talked about that extensively. But at the end of this episode, it was, well, the moment that we got to see how Alya is really able to do a lot on her own. And that's honestly a really important thing to actually get to see. Alya is finally being shown as she is going to be a extremely important aspect to the team moving forward. Obviously, we got to see a good amount of that in Mr. Pigeon 72, with her basically being the MVP of that entire thing, even though Marinette was heavily involved there. But basically, Alya did most of the work in that episode. Not to mention, in Optigami, if it wasn't for Alya again, everything would have fallen through. And more than likely, Marinette and Adrian would have revealed their identities to each other. Oh no. What have we done? I'm kidding, obviously. But it was really an important moment to get to see. And in this episode, we get to see how Marinette is really uncertain if she did the right thing. This is a hard decision to make. Previously, she had, basically everything that she had done up to this point was pretty much the standard things that she had been doing with, well, with all of the other characters before Master Fu ever went away. Her using a Miraculous or calling upon her friends, that's just something that she would do. But now she is starting to realize that she can rely on people besides just herself, which she needs to look at someone else that she should have been relying on this entire time. We'll talk more about that as we continue. But it's clear that her dreams, that her fears are being manifested as dreams, where she's uncertain if she knows that Alya won't betray her, but at the same time, she doesn't know for sure in her heart that, well, in her heart she knows, but in her mind, it's uncertainty. Is there a possibility that Alya could betray her? Could Alya decide, nope, I'm going to destroy everything? And so Marinette runs off, foolishly, running off to speak to Alya, and deals with some crazy stuff with her family, including a frickin' tarantula. But we also get to see some interesting factors of the beginnings of Nino's uncertainty. The fact is that we've kind of known for a while that Nino is going to be having a lot of a tough time moving forward. The fact is that Alya knows that she needs to be careful if she wants to tell Nino that anything that's going on here. And the fact is that this is not her secret to share. This is Marinette's secret to share. If she wants to reveal this stuff, it has to be Marinette who decides that this is the time. If she wants to give Nino the Miraculous, it has to be Marinette who decides once and for all that it is time for Nino to have the Turtle Miraculous full time. And multiple other times it's happened again and again, to the point where it's probably going to be going on for a while. And things are not going to be getting easier in Rocketeer. We'll talk about that at some later time, I think, unless it comes out before we actually get a chance to talk about it. But the fact is that Rocketeer is going to be a really tough episode to watch, as it's going to be really hard to deal with Nino, and really dealing with the decision of what should we do? Should Rena change her ways? Should Nino and her break up? Should something else happen? Does Nino need to understand that sometimes there have to be some secrets between people? And the fact is that there are a lot of issues going on right now. And Hawkmoth knows everyone's identities, and he's going to use that advantage to his benefit. More than likely, there are going to be multiple times moving forward where he is just going to create senti-monsters just to screw with Marinette and her friends. And sure, Marinette is kind of off the table, but at the same time, no one else is safe. Alia is, well, extremely in danger. The fact is that Hawkmoth knows that she is special in some way, shape, or form. And that should be obvious from this episode, because throughout the episode, Alia quickly changes in and out of her suit in order to refuel and create illusions to constantly throw the enemy off her track. From the very first instant of the episode, she turns around, knocks over a table, transforms into herself, instantly causes a mirage so that she can take care of things and get ready to actually figure out what she wants to do moving forward, is able to then contact Marinette, figure out exactly a good plan to continue, and she does all of this so successfully, being of the utmost careful, transforming 3 different times to make sure that no one is the wiser of what is going on, keeping both Cat Noir and Marinette safe, finding a way so that they can come in to actually fix everything and save the day. But it's also interesting to see that Hawkmoth is starting to realize when he is losing. This is the first episode up to this point, well, maybe not the first episode, but the first time, I guess it is the first episode, where where the main villain of this episode is, rather than being defeated, the object being destroyed by Hawkmoth, instead, or being destroyed by Ladybug, Hawkmoth removes the Akuma, or I guess the Amok, instead of letting Marinette, well, destroy the object. The fact is that Marinette could have easily done a lot of things once with SentiBubbler in her control. And the only time that this has happened before is with Mayura stopping, well, Ladybug. The one time when she created the Senti-monster of Ladybug. It's honestly insane to think about that so much has changed in such a short amount of time, to the point where Ladybug and Cat Noir have done so much growing, but at the same time, Hawkmoth has learned from his mistakes, and is realizing sometimes he's not going to be able to win, and sometimes he needs to pull himself out before things get worse, and Ladybug gets a permanent ally. The fact is that if she really wanted to, she could have just kept hold. If Hawkmoth hadn't removed the Amok, she could have held on to the SentiBubbler coffee mug and had it go after him for years and years, causing complete mischief. And that just is what happened. Obviously, Optigami also kind of is like this, but it's a different situation. Hawkmoth is realizing that he can't win these battles, and he is going to start looking for other ways to actually complete his goal. He knows now that there are two people that he can rely on if he really wants to call upon them. He knows that Lila is an easy option because she hates Ladybug, but so is Chloe at this point. Either one of them, calling upon them to become permanent allies to him is not a hard thing to do. And if he now that he knows more about the magical charms, all he has to do is make sure that that magical charm is taken away from Chloe, and he can have an ally on his side for the rest of time. Even if multiple times Ladybug gives her a magical charm to stop Hawkmoth from getting it, because if he knows what it is, he can stop it. And yeah, for lack of a better term, it's gonna get worse. But it's also getting better. Because in this moment, I think it's time that we realize that Marinette is going to start realizing that she needs permanent allies. Alia is just the first step. Alia is, well, to be honest, a good friend to Marinette, and is going to be a permanent ally. But I think after Rocketeer, there's going to be a moment where Marinette is going to take Nino and Alia, and she is going to discuss everything that has been happening. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Rocketeer now, because I think it's important that we do. Nino isn't completely ready to be a permanent carapace. But the fact is that Marinette has probably noticed by this point that even though she is doing a lot better now that she has someone to confide in, well, Cat Noir is going to need that too. He has been struggling for a lot longer because he doesn't want to keep his secret for much longer. He knows that he has to, but he doesn't have anyone that he can rely on. So there's going to be a discussion where Nino is going to be asked a simple question. Can he keep the secret of identities? The fact is that right now Alia is keeping Ladybug's identity secret. And yes, as of right now, he is keeping Alia's secret pretty well. I mean, it doesn't really matter because of the fact that she's known, but both of them are known. But it's also an interesting factor that in this moment, Adrien needs someone. He needs someone that he can rely on. And as such, maybe that needs to be Nino. And with that, it will allow Nino to understand why exactly Alia has been so distant from him lately. It will allow him to understand that sometimes he just needs to give her a break because she's helping out Ladybug. And he'll understand that. And sure, once he's actually understood that significantly, and I think that that's probably going to be one of the episodes after Rocketeer, he's going to gain the Turtle Miraculous full time, which is just insane to think about. On top of that, I also want to bring up the factor of other people getting their Miraculouses full time. Certain heroes have actually proven themselves to actually be worthy to hold their Miraculouses full time. Luca and Kagami are kind of a weird situation, but we'll deal with them eventually. But people like Max, who very clearly probably knows that Marinette and Adrien are, he's probably one of the best options to actually hold his Miraculous full time. Kim is a bit of a weird situation because he hasn't revealed his identity yet, but at the same time, like, come on, he's gonna end up doing something stupid. But yes, Max is probably going to be a good option to gain his Miraculous full time. Along with that, Rose is actually the perfect option to hold her Miraculous, again, full time. She has not been akumatized since her first... Well, I guess she has been akumatized, but she's rarely been akumatized, only being re-akumatized into her previous self only 2 times, being one of the fewest multi-timers. Yes, there are some that have been re-akumatized multiple times, but... or less times, but the fact is that she is one of those people who has had so few times and is still a Miraculous holder. And also, Julika is now safe. The fact is that probably anyone who has been akumatized in recent time, since getting the magical charm, is probably safe to actually hold a Miraculous full time. I mean, obviously not all of them are going to be doing that, but the fact is that it still could be a good option. And now that Nino is going to be one of those people who's going to have a magical charm, yeah, holding on to Carapace, being Carapace every now and again is probably going to be a good option for him. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens moving forward. Obviously, we'll talk more about this as the story continues. And the fact is that Mega Leech is coming up soon, I believe, so we'll have that to talk about. So, quick reminder of the remaining episodes, because obviously I don't want you guys to forget. So, we still have Mega Leech, because that's actually the one that's most important to me right now. But we also have Psycho Medium, which is episode 5, Gabriel Agress, which is episode 9, why did I say Crocodile? Crocodile, sorry, which is episode 12, and Rocketeer, which is coming very soon. So, who knows exactly how they're going to handle things moving forward, but it's coming to an end very soon, and things are going to be getting more crazy as we enter into the 5th season. Probably not very long after this season finishes, to be honest. I mean, obviously they could do it, because they could wait a bit, because, of course, there's a lot of chaos going on, and people are starting to realize how much episodes actually need to be aired in order. Like, seriously, could you imagine if this episode if SentiBubbler had happened before Optigami? Holy crap, there would have been so many reveals. And honestly, I'm kind of upset that Optigami happened before the others. But we'll talk about that more as things continue. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts and theories down in the description below. Of course, if you guys have any theories, please please make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment. And of course, if you guys do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias, our other channels, and ways you can support us financially, including the merch store, the book, and our Patreon. Yeah, all that stuff. The social medias, merch, all that jazz. Anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I've been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!